Cortana is back and is going to be much more pivotal to the story than she has been in the past. Typically, she's been your friend and confidant, but also an expositor of information. I mean, she can explain to you what's happening with the Forerunner device, and she can explain where the Pillar of Autumn is, and give you all this sort of very dry information. But we set up a bunch of things about her persona and about her character that we have to pay off one way or another. And the elephant in the room is that AIs have a 7-year lifespan in the Halo universe, after which they start to basically think themselves to death in a process called rampancy, which can exhibit itself as a malfunction or madness or both, or something that we haven't encountered at all yet. And so the fact of the matter is that Cortana is reaching her expiry date, and in fact has extended her healthy natural lifespan by being exposed to all this Forerunner technology in the previous games. She is going to descend into rampancy at some point, and how do the two characters deal with that? How does that affect the plot? What do they do to either embrace it or try and prevent it, depending on what we do with the story? This time she's absolutely a core character and core to the plot and core to the direction that the universe is going to go on. And having her be present with the Chief as they encounter various physical and non-physical problems in the story is going to be a big part of the atmosphere and the tone of the game. And so, the Chief isn't suddenly going to become this monologue spewing automaton, but by the same token, he's also going to be faced with personal challenges and practical challenges that he's never encountered before. And Cortana is one of those, and one of the main ones. So Cortana is different than other AIs in a couple of really important respects. The number one is illegal, and is a piece of the backstory that fans of the deep fiction are aware of, which is that she wasn't grown from scratch. She's actually kind of a clone of a template of Dr. Halsey's brain. So that makes her fundamentally different at her core than any other AI, and probably more human, is certainly what we infer. But secondly, she's been exposed to literally the most advanced technology in the galaxy through months of adventuring through Forerunner artifacts and information libraries and indices. And so Cortana has not only been exposed to that, but she's also been exposed to the intellectual willpower of the Flood, which is ultimately an intelligent being. And so she's had a lot more exposure to a lot more influences than any other AI. And so it's going to be interesting to see how those either strengthen or corrode her state of mind as she heads towards her inevitable rampancy. Cortana is a UNSC artificial intelligence. They do things like run ships or even fleets of ships, and they do very high-level work within the UNSC. They're allowed to choose their own appearance, and so we have AIs that look like beautiful naked women, or they can be a wizard surrounded by snow, or any appearance that they choose to pick. We have a shrunken old Chinese lady as one of our AIs, and they pick their appearance based on some aspect of their persona. To me, I always think that Cortana is trying to take a little bit of inspiration from her creator, Dr. Halsey. So to me, she's always looked a little bit like Halsey in my mind, which isn't actually literally correct. But also, I think the fact that she is a beautiful blue naked lady is tactically designed to put people on their heels and make her a little bit more in charge than she might otherwise be. I can't believe I'm arguing for her nudity as a kind of feminist ideal, but that's how I've always felt about it. I always felt I gave her an advantage over people in conversations because it was a little bit distracting, and it put them off their guard a little bit. As we go through each evolution of the game series, and we go Halo 1, 2, 3, and now 4, the Chief looks different because you have different artists and different technology and more polys and blah, blah, blah. And there is some canonical sort of exposition about why he looks different. Those all take second place, frankly, to the reality of making the game look better and making the Chief's armor more practical and so on. With Cortana, she's an artificial intelligence who chooses her own appearance, so the conceit is that this is how she happens to look today. But the reality is that the technology has progressed through each iteration so dramatically, especially with Cortana, that fans at this point are used to her looking really, really different between iterations of the game. The biggest gulf between Halo 3 and Halo 4 is in the performance capture that we're using. We're using an amazing actress to do the facial capture and the physical performance, and it's a real performance, but it's a complicated one because she's playing someone who's effectively about a foot high, who has to be larger than life and has to emote and in some ways be far more human than any of the other characters in the game, including the Master Chief. And we're pairing her, of course, with the classic Jen Taylor voice. And so it's the quality of performances that we're getting out of that process, and the quality of the actual technological output that we now have is leaps and bounds ahead of how things used to be, and that's just a natural evolution of the tech and the process and the choices that we made. So we're really excited about it, and I think the fans are going to be pretty happy about it too.